Okay, just a simple thing. For example, we invested $100. Okay, we lost $50 out of that. So my loss percentage is like this, loss divided by my investment. So I have a loss percentage of 50%. This is my remaining investment. I lost 50%. Now what I'm trying to say here is I want to go back. I invested 100, I lost 50. Now I'm left with only $50 in hand. Now, if I have to recover this loss of $50 and I have to move back to the gain original position of mine, which was like $100, although I lost 50%, but if I have to recover that, I have to make 100% gain. This sounds little weird. I lost 50%. I'm talking about in percentage terms. I lost 50%. But in order to recover, I have to make 100% gain. Look how it works. I lost 50. So now from 50 to 100, I'm going back to from 50 to 100 again. So this 50 divided by this 50, here the numeric 50 means the 50 loss. And the H10 in the formula, H10 is my investment. So on the investment of $50, I have to make a gain of $50. Only then I will be able to make up 100, right? So if I calculate in percentage terms, I have to make 100% gain so that I move back to my original position. Let's take another example. I invested 100, I lost $70. My remaining investment is now $30. How much I lost? I lost 70%. But in order to recover that 70%, I have to make 167% gain. Only then I will be able to reach 100. So because now my capital is 30 and I have to make from 30, I have to make $70 on 30. So invest on the investment of $30, I have to make a earning of $70 so that I'm back on my original position. So I have to make a gain of 167%. That's a relative percentage. What I'm trying to say here is you got the concept. If I'm losing 10%, just the $10, it's not like I need to make a 10% gain on it. I have to make more than 10%, equals to 11%. So I have to make at least 11% gain to reach to that level. I'm doing some mistake in the formula. So the idea is like if you lose 10%, you don't have to earn 10%. You have to earn more than that in order to get back to your original position. So be careful with what you invest and don't try to lose money on that. So like 10% loss does not mean that you will earn 10% more to get back to original position. Previously, 10% was like $10 on your 100. Now 10% on $90 remaining investment will only be $9. So it has to be like 11% on 90% on your $90. So you will get back to 100. So this thing needs to be kept in mind. If it goes further beyond like 30, so you have to earn more than that on $70 to get back to 100, 43%, so that you are back to 100. So this idea is like don't lose your money. If you have a fear that you will end up losing your money, so better not to invest in that, and wherever you're confident, go back to that. Okay guys, thank you. Yeah, Kamal, you can take over.
Yeah, right. Thanks, Tahir. So Tahir brought in a very, very important point, which I mentioned at the start, and I'll reiterate. When you're thinking about trading in penny stocks, it's a high risk trade which you are taking, and you should accept that you are going to make a trade which could also end up giving you a loss. Okay, so it's highly profitable, but on the other side, it could also be a highly loss-making trade as well. And I had mentioned that the entry point is the key. If you enter at a price which is like this here, and if you are able to sell here, then you you would have made a considerable percentage profit. But if you have entered somewhere here and then it dropped here, and you got a chance here to exit, but you are not able to exit, but then you are on this trend, then you would be in loss for considerable amount of time. So for trading in stocks, it's very, very critical to take risk management uh, seriously and have risk mitigation strategy in mind, in place, to recover in case the penny stock which you entered, instead of going up, it has gone down. As a mitigation strategy which I usually use, i I can mention here, which is very relevant, as uh, Tahir has rightly mentioned this at this point, and I would take example of LTE. And the reason why I would take example of LTE, is if you see LTE about 3 months, 4 months back, it was trading at this range in 0.90, and then it dropped and it started dropping here. And I entered, I think, on this drop on this day. The indicators indicated that it has dropped under this support. Williams R, RSI, all the indicators were giving a hint that it's in oversold, and I entered here. That was my first buy for LT at I think on around 0.30 on this day. And what happened on the very next day? Here I would say that I did hurry because I didn't wait for um, maybe I think I saw that the price it closed was 0.29, and the next day when it opened at 0.30, higher than its closing price. It opened at 0.3150. That's why I had entered at, I think I entered at 0.29. I would have set a buy limit on this day itself at 0.29. That's why my order got executed. And when I bought it at 0.29, a, a very important part of my strategy here is, when I enter first time, I enter in small quantity. I think I had shared in the group that I'm still on this at 1100 11k, so 11,000 position. I didn't enter entire 11k on this day. I think I had bought 1k on this, uh, and no, I was in India. When I travel and I reached back, I realized that by the time I came here, the stock price was on 0.15, so which was 50% down. I bought it at 0.29 and it was 0.15 here, and it closed at 0.14. So I was 50% down on this. And this is not the first time that had happened with me, and I was not surprised. Of course, I was upset that I entered early, but I did not get um demotivated by this, because by the time I put a buy order for this, I had spent enough time on this stock. Eh, I From this time up to here, it was in my watch list. I was monitoring it. I wanted to enter this, and when I entered, it's just that since I entered, it dropped more than 50%. For some of you on this call, it might be devastating. I don't deny that. 50% drop on a stock with a quantity of $1,000. You invested, means for $1,000 at 0.29, I invested $290 and it came to $140, which is very devastating. But uh, this $290 which I put on this stock was a very small portion of my portfolio compared to my total portfolio amount, which meant that even if I was mentally prepared that even if I lose 290, which would be hurting, of course, but it's not going to hurt my portfolio. I mean, it it is not going to make my portfolio in non-recoverable or very tough to recover stage, which meant that it the percentage which I put on this stock was very less compared to the total investment. So whenever I think I mentioned at the start and I'm reiterating here, for your portfolio, whether you are beginner or you have been trading for a long time, um, it's always recommended to have diversification. And even I follow invest means though most members in this group might be knowing me that I am a penny stocks trader, but I also invest on the higher end of the stocks. I do trade in uh, Shopify, Tesla, and other established stocks. What it does is it keeps my portfolio safe from losing that much that I cannot recover. So uh, I would say that I do invest close to or more than 50% in penny stocks, but my 50% is on well-established stocks. So out of those 50%, I then start with 10% on one stock, and then if it starts doing good, or if I see that it has started reversing trend. So by an example, if I have to say, the time I increased my position on this stock of LT from 1000 to 11,000 was on, I think, this or this day. It would most probably be. So since it dropped here again, and a next day drop wasn't expected, because when a stock is on downtrend, and it, as Vivek sir had also mentioned, that um, a stock once it goes outside Bollinger Band, either the stock tries to get into the Bollinger Band, or the Bollinger Band stretches. So if Bollinger Band stretches, which means the stock is going further up. But if the stock tries to get inside the uh, Bollinger Band envelope, which is a good thing, that the stock is trying to reverse. So when I noticed here that it is giving a hint that it is reversing, I think on one of those days I would have increased my position with a quantity that my average price is very close to the last market price. Obviously, it won't be lower than last market price. It would be higher because I had bought at a at a higher price. But since I am buying, I am increasing my position by, if I double, then my average will become half, which will be closer to the last price. If I buy more than double, then it will be even closer. So depending on the confidence level, it's not that I increase my position on a one day at 10k. Initially I would have bought 2.5k, and then uh, 5k, and then again 2.5k. So that total, it started with 1k, then 2.5k, 5k, and then again 2.5k. We made it 11k. And since I bought this 10k at a lower price, which was very much close to this price, so when it went up on, is it on 17th, when it went up, I was on profit way easier. Means my average was lower than the price it was traded on this day, very easily. So that's one of the strategy which I use. It has worked for me. But I have a confidence on that stock that stock is going to go up if it starts reversing, and that confidence comes after spending time or watching the stock for long term. It's not that I see a stock one day it has fallen, I buy, and the next day I'll increase my position. I watch it. If I get a confidence, then I increase my position. Um, it's not 100% that once I increase my position, it will go up. That's why I don't take a very big position at the next uh, second buy. It all depends on what the trend I'm feeling would be and what the indicators are indicating, whether it's about to reverse or there's still indecisiveness in the market. So based on those considerations, um, it might not be, means my answer might not be a direct hint of whether we should be buying or at what quantity, but I hope I'm kind of giving a hint on how I think on increasing my position in order to average down if I have bought at a higher price. Vivek sir or Tahir, if you would like to add to what I am trying to share.
Yeah, I think Kamal, you're 100% right. When you feel like you are confident enough and you can increase your portfolio accordingly, as you rightly did, in small quantity, and then gradually increase your total holding on that. But it does not necessarily mean that after you buy it, it will go on, it will increase. It may go even further down. So the best point is when to increase your holding, because you have bought something at a higher price and then you want to average it out. So averaging out only works when you see that there's a shift in the trend. So if you don't see the shift in trend, so don't average out at that point in time. Like you bought at $10 and then it moved down to $7, and now you are trying to get some more quantity, and then from 7 it fell down to 5. So buying at $7 might not be a good idea. So how you will come to know that 7 is the lowest point and it won't fall beyond 7 is to just wait a little and see if it has started to picking up after 7, and you see it is 7.5 or it's now moving towards 8. So that's a point where it gives an idea. Okay, yeah, from here it can start picking up again, but from 7 it goes to 6.5 the next day, and you bought the previous day on 7, so it wasn't a good time to buy. So when it is good time to average out is when it has actually started moving up and you can see a green candles forming up, take help of some other indicators as well. So and at that point of time, I think it's good to increase your holdings on that. It will give you a little bit more confidence. Yep.
Thank you, Tahir.
I think
Vivek,
Vivek Krishna has raised hand. I don't know for how long it has been there.
Yeah,
I think
hi,
he has got some question.
yeah,
hi Kamal.
sure.
What are your thoughts on the same LT? Will it break this out? Because I have also been following this company for some time, and the thing is, they more than Yahoo Finance. I also look who are there in the company board and all those things, and it sounds to be a good leadership that is associated with this company. So I see that their operations are expanding in Alberta. Like they got a Brooks contract and some other contracts as well. So in my thought, it's gonna go up, and I feel like their downtrend was due to COVID and that UK operations cancelled out due to COVID. I would like to know what are your thoughts, based on the current reversal, like.
Yeah, absolutely agree. I also have a very similar thought on what you shared. And the reason why it had dropped drastically was because of this news that they had kind of suspended operations in UK. And now it has gone up because of the updates of their Canadian operations. And I, I, since I am um, analyzing the stocks from the company perspective. It's also good to explore the management. Maybe I think I should consider doing that. Up to now, I have given very less weightage on the management.
Yeah, use LinkedIn.
Okay.
Yeah, use
So,
LinkedIn a lot for that.
um,
And see, look at their experience and stuff. So most, since I also work on a startup, so if the management is pathetic, then trust me, the products, even if the product is good, that wouldn't go so well. For example, I would say at this point, MIR got its, although they are there since March for COVID testing, they didn't go up though. I mean, they had a 0.89 spike, but if you compare to Sona, which went till $9 or something, there it's all about. I feel like it's, even though their Sona's product was not that great, they had a management to, it's like advertising things right. That way, they are able to get lots of contract. So that plays a very crucial role, at least in Canada. I'm also working this COVID related stuff, so I follow all the competitors. So that's how I get to know this part, these things. So now MIR is picking up because of their total antibody testing. That means to see how much immunity you guys have after COVID vaccination. So that's why like their trend is kind of reversing. So it's the management plays a big role when we also, not in addition to those technicals and stock price so on. I hope that makes sense.
yeah, thanks for your two bits, Vivek. So up to now, I have been focusing more on or giving more weightage to technicals. It's how the stock has performed its history of trading, and it's the company financials, its earnings, and how are the analysts rating. So those all information we can get all those information both from TradingView and on Yahoo Finance. Any of the stocks you see it on either of them. About the management, I up to now I had not explored that much. I think that's a good suggestion. Thanks for your suggestion on that. And anything, Vivek sir, would you like to add? If you're Vivek sir is not there on the call. Okay, right. So,
Kamal, I'm sorry.
no
My
worries.
actually network is weak, so I think you already covered most of the points. There's nothing much I can add to it.
Thanks. Okay. So the point which Vivek Krishna had mentioned about LT, based on the way it has traded and its current price, I have confidence in this stock to cover this gap down. It has tried to cover this time. There's a gap down here, and there was a long downtrend. So since I have taken position on this stock for long term, I am okay to hold this stock even though I have in a bigger quantity. Gradually, I might start reducing the quantity and taking out the profits. And
But Kamal, if I were you, I would take off my profit at 0.5.
yes, so what I was looking
0.5,
is,
I would take off my profit because this last gap down has already been covered.
yes.
Now the previous gap has to be covered from 0.43 to 0.5. 0.5 would be the first resistance that I would now look at it.
Yes, sir, absolutely. So I was looking that in the next uptrend, or when it starts going up
Uptrend,
again,
yes.
it would try to cover this gap. So minimum, I'm expecting it to touch 0.43, 0.45, and as you said, the target is 0.50. So I'm also
0.5.
targeting to sell my 50% of the position and keep 50%, or even more than 50% I might exit, depending on how much time it takes to reach. So
Absolutely.
the quantity I decide based on how much time it takes to reach the targets. So that's my way. Maybe Vivek sir or Tahir.
No, I agree. I agree. I agree.
Okay, so I would just have a quick look. So over here, mm, I think any questions on how to get the stocks for buying? The major, or I would say the minor difference here, which we have discussed multiple times previously, and in this screener is about the last price. In previous discussions, um, you would have seen that we keep last as lower as $5 and above. And in this case, I uh, look at the stocks which are 0.40 and above. So I am okay to go down, means buy stocks which are cheaper. And actually, I'm looking for stocks which are within this 0.40 to $1 range because I want to buy in more quantity.
You would be mostly focusing on point 0.7 and above. So
Uh,
that would be almost an immediate hit of one.
yes, yes. And that's for US market stocks. For,
US market. So
yeah. So for Canadian stocks, I am okay to go under 0.50. On US market, I have had stocks which I used to have under point 50, 0.40, and then I myself have had stocks which have been delisted, and yeah, I wanted to mention this as well intentionally, that when I say that my biggest portfolio is at least 50% up, it also had stocks which are delisted. So I am not worrying much about that. It's but for some other, um, that could be a very big point of worry because it might impact the portfolio in a big way. Because I had in a lesser quantity and I missed out on exiting. By the time I got to know, it was moved to the other stock OTC market. So it can happen. It has happened with me, so it can happen with anyone. And this is part of the risk that you we are accepting it and entering a penny stock. So uh, what I meant to say is this can happen with anybody with any stock, and I am not someone who has been lucky to not experience that. I have also experienced that, but since my positioner was small, I was in smaller quantity. The loss that I incurred with that didn't hurt my portfolio, and my portfolio is still. Um, it would have been better if I would have not incurred that loss, but it had not given me as much loss that, as Tahir was explaining from the example, that if the stock goes down 50%, it needs to come up more than 50% to recover. In that case, it is like if it is uh, delisted from NYSE or Nasdaq, it is moved to OTC market. It can easily drop by 50%. So there's a very tough probability or very less probability of it to come up again and to the price at which you bought it. So it's okay to, I mean, it's a way of minimizing the loss that you have already incurred by exiting in that case, rather than holding it and expecting that it might come up. It can well happen that
Yes,
it can come up and it can come up
कितने
next
बजे?
day, but it can come up after
12:30.
6 months, right? So,
हाँ,
uh,
अभी तक आप सो नहीं रहे थे?
right.
अभी आप सोई अभी आप सोए ही हुए थे ना?
Uh, any questions on this front? I specifically wanted to emphasize on having this in mind that the stock might get delisted, but not worrying too much and having that thought in your risk mitigation plan as well, that yes, maybe I can share with an example. So if you have a portfolio of $500 and you are thinking to invest $200 out of that 500 in penny stocks, then if I were you, out of those $200, I would invest in 3 to 4 stocks of $50 to $100 each on each of the 3 penny stocks. And out of those 3, I don't expect all 3 to go up. What I'm expecting is out of these 3, at least one, or 3 out of 1, maybe for someone else it might be a very high success rate. Let's say 5 out of 1. I would expect that if 5 out of 1 gives me 100% profit, remaining 2 gives me from 20 to 50% profit, and one or 2 gives me around 5 to 10% profit, and one, if it gives me loss, I'm still, if you do the overall calculation, you will still be in profit. So which what I wanted to say in summary is, out of the 5 stocks, I'm just hoping only one stock to do very good, 2 to 3 stocks to be okay, and 1 to 2 stock may fail. It might give me loss, but I'm still okay, because my overall the amount that I put for the together for these 5 stocks, I'm in much gain that I would have had if I would have invested this much amount on a bigger stock, because a big cap stock might not grow as fast. The 2 or 3 stocks out of these 5 grew, and together, if we take average of these 5 stocks, the profit that they gave would be way lesser than one big cap stock. So this is my personal portfolio experience which I'm sharing. It may not apply to everyone, but this is roughly the way I try to handle my account and the portfolios which I am managing. When I say this, I am only managing portfolios of my family members and my relatives. So and that's why I think sometimes I said that I'm handling 6 to 7 accounts. Any questions on this front?
Hi Kamal, I have something to say here. What I do is when I see a stock which has gone down 50% or 25%, I just try and check why it has gone down. And in case if it has gone down because of the offering, I stick to it and I try and average it out.
Wonderful. That's a very good point which you mentioned. So exiting is, for me, if I get into a stock, I rarely sell at a loss, and I exit at a loss only if there is a very bad news about the company, or if there's a news that the company will get delisted. Apart from bad news, I mostly try to hold, and I don't mind holding the stock for 6 months, 7 months. Blue is a good example of that. If some of you are following, I try to make sure that if I enter a stock, I exit at minimum at least 2 to 3%. In the worst case, only if it is going to be delisted, that's where I try to exit at loss. Otherwise, I rarely exit any of my stocks at loss. And maybe that's one of the reason why I am able to keep my accounts positive, because even if the stocks drop, I am not selling them and I am okay to hold. Since I am not day trading, I'm investing, and so I'm okay to hold even if the stock drops. And if there is the case which Vivek mentioned, it will, after some time it will obviously come up, so there's no need to sell.